Now, let's listen to the end of the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s final speech, and then I want to analyze it a little bit.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
He says, I'm not concerned about longevity. I may not get there with you. God, it almost makes you think like he knew that something or somebody or some entity was on his tracks. You know, he talks about how he stays true to the principles of the Constitution. He says, look, it doesn't matter if the establishment and the powers that be right now or the courts have an injunction on us and they say we can't do these protests in certain places, because guess what? If we are doing peaceful protests, I know we are right. So you can't stop us through some silly means, right? Some silly political posturing to try to prevent, you know, the rabble from rising up and actually demanding their rights. I know we are in the right. So we are going to do what we're going to do regardless of how you try to curtail it and how you try to stop it. I know that we have, I read the First Amendment. I know we have freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of expression, freedom to protest, all this stuff. So that's what we're going to do. And guess what? If you don't like our message, that sucks for you, because we are the ones that are right. And in the long run, we are going to be viewed as the heroes. We are going to be the ones that actually push society and humanity in a better direction. And you're going to be the dumbasses that stand in the way. Now, of course, those are my words, not his, because he's too much of a gentleman to actually use that kind of harsh rhetoric. But I mean, it really does, it gives you goosebumps, man.